Hi everyone, I am so thrilled, early this morning, thanks to Tarun,
Yes, very
to
early.
invite you to the first episode of Fashionably Purnia, where we discuss lifestyle, luxury and fashion with the best in the industry. And it's the first of its kind in India. And I just thought for the first episode, I should have somebody who's very important, but also hilarious. So Tarun Tahiliani, who is a pioneer in Indian fashion design, and of course his beautiful muse, who's been a supermodel since 2000. So you can imagine. I mean, that's
My God,
incredible.
that sounds really long.
Yeah, and you know what? The fact that she looked this hot for 24 years modeling is just an achievement in itself. So please welcome my amazing guests, and I'm so happy you guys are here. Thank you so much.
We're glad to be here to support you. She's actually getting hotter like Naomi Campbell as she gets along.
I think you're doing a better job than Naomi Campbell. I swear to God.
Thank you.
I remember once I was in college and you had invited my mom to be a part of a campaign with lots of different ladies of different age groups.
Yes.
And you just told me, he said, just you come along to help, you know. So I said, okay, whatever. I was just
Well,
lurking.
you were training as a stylist.
I was just lurking on the set, and Lakshmi was there
Yes.
as a part of the group, and I was like, who's this goddess? And it was a really great group of people.
It was fantastic.
And this was what year? Like ages ago, 15
Must
years
have been
ago?
at least 15.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Well, we
you
had
know-
that backdrop and Rohit Chawla shot against
Yes.
it. And
Stunning.
your mum was there like, I had this old photograph from one of these, films of this group of women in a kind of harem. And I always
Yeah.
thought it'd be beautiful to shoot all ages like that.
That was an amazing campaign. But literally been your muse for like, what, 20 years?
Well, yeah, we've shot, we've traveled around the world, we have fun, but there's no pretense involved, so it's just fun, it's easy, we could be honest, it's great.
But Lakshmi, tell me, I just want to ask you, like, first we'll get to like how you look this good for this long. You're obviously doing something right. But also like, how does one stay relevant as a model for this long? Because all your contemporaries who you started with have stopped modeling. You're like literally the only one who's still like a supermodel in India. So how does one even do that?
Well, I'm sure Tarun has a funny take on it, but I'll just give you my version.
Yeah.
Number one is that I enjoy it.
Yeah.
I think that helps. And number two is the fact that my professional reputation, along with the fact that I'm good at my craft and I've really made efforts to do that, really helps. And when we started off, when I started off modeling, I think it was a lot to do with personalities. It was the way Tarun would kind of put an outfit on, say, a Nina Manuel or a Sheetal Mallar or me or a Madhu Sapre. We were personalities who would walk the ramp. And I think that kind of, and I've learned from these kind of people like, a Madhu Sapre and a Meher Jaisia and, a Nina Manuel. I think they were goddesses at that point of time when I started off. And I feel that really stuck to me. And I think it's a lot to do with your persona and your personality, what you bring to the outfit or what you bring to the stage.
Yeah.
And I think that really helped me, along with the fact that professional reputation really helps. So if an outfit is to be given to me, they know that she would be able to carry that outfit off because it's an important outfit.
Your reputation on the runway, like people have written about you, you're like a swan, a goddess on the runway. I know younger models who've told me that, when we're starting off, we've asked Lakshmi to help us with our walk. You help a lot of girls.
Yeah.
I mean, you're literally the queen of the runway. Do you agree?
Yeah, I think that's so nice. I never thought about her because I guess you just take each other for granted. You've been doing this together for so long. But we just did a big show, at this big Bharat Tex thing. And
I heard you stole flowers from the decor at that show.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, because I did. They didn't bring the right flowers. Not a big deal. One vase went missing. But I said, okay, I was speaking to Anu Hoja. I said, make sure Lakshmi is in my pool,
Yeah.
And I've already got something allocated for her. So yeah, it's easy. She's also will give you honest feedback.
Yeah.
If something's working or not. And to go back to your point about girls being personalities, in the 90s, no one grew up watching TV or FTV or anything. So they just came from their backgrounds and brought their personalities that had developed with them. By the time we got to the 2000s, everyone was like becoming clones of each other. You know, the world is about clones today.
Right, right.
And that, sadly, is where people who have personalities stand out versus just, you know, endless bodies. You got another brick in the wall sort of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Easily replaceable is what's happened today.
Yeah.
At
Right.
that point of time, it wasn't the case.
Yeah, so you're
Absolutely.
not replaceable at all because nobody walks like you. And I guess, like you said, the personality is really what matters.
Who is it? Balmain, who just did the show with all these older women?
Yeah. First of all, they didn't even look older. I was like,
but
they look
I mean,
gorgeous.
the thing is, they were 40, 50, 60. And today, these are young ages if someone looks after themselves, right?
Of course, 40 is super young.
And so I think that, you know, I would actually love to use someone like Lakshmi well into her 60s or 70s, you know.
Inshallah,
As long as
yeah.
you keep enjoying it.
Yeah, I know.
Inshallah.
If
you
it's
know.
you, then yes,
Yeah,
maybe.
of course, yeah.
I want to share another funny anecdote with you. I don't know if I've told you before. I can't remember which year was this, but I think I was in school and you had started these saris where you had those belts.
Yeah.
Like these jeweled belts. Tarun saris were an international rage. Like I can't explain to you. So one day we were at dinner. We had guests from out of India and they were from South Asia. So they were like, you have to get me a Tarun sari. I don't know, I've called this person, I've gone to a store and they're not available because they're sold out and it's impossible. And I was just like, people were going crazy, like as if they wanted drugs or something. That Tarun sari with the belt, I think, was it Shilpa Shetty who wore it first?
Yeah.
Tarun, I don't know.
I had no idea.
Oh my God, that sari was like, I have never seen people go so nuts over something. It was insane.
You know, I wish I'd learned this younger.
Yeah.
Because the problem with me is I designed something. By the time it became popular and a rage, I was bored. So I just moved to the next thing. And I think that for those of us who started later and didn't train with people, we just thought, it's about the next thing, it's about the next thing. Well, it's not how you build a business. Now I've learned it, so we do a bit of both, you know.
You have your classics, right? Which you can
Yeah,
sell
I'm
forever.
reviving this, exactly what you're wearing. We showed this in
Stunning.
Milan
Beautiful.
in 2003.
Yeah.
And we couldn't produce enough. We didn't have the tailoring capability. And today, because I'm always interested, as you know, in a modern version of things, you know.
Right.
I've seen everybody dressed up as Jodak, but I'm done with it. I really want a modern take on Indian craft, right?
That's what your brand is about,
Yeah,
right?
and it's, you know, you can wear this anywhere in the world.
Exactly.
I mean, I forgot you were wearing and I walked in and my jaw fell open, but you know,
Yeah.
it looks great and contemporary, you're not accessorized, it's cool. I think this is what we're going to do more and more.
I think that's what identifies your brand very strongly. It's very much Indian, but it's a modern Indian
And one has
garment.
to be,
Yeah.
and I'm very interested in construction and fit, I always have
Yeah,
been.
yeah.
I mean, you ask her, we'll do fittings, everything is fit in the classical tradition, they'll be in 2 hours, can you sit, can you wear, can you lift, you know. So that technical knowledge is constantly being brought into the clothes,
Right.
mixing craft with tailoring
Yeah.
and pattern making.
And that's why it's so beautiful and so timeless.
Yeah, I wore a Tarun sari for my wedding, by the way.
You wore Tarun sari for your
And
wedding. You
guess
have
what?
to share a photo with
wait,
us.
Wait. And
Yeah.
you got married in bed, which doesn't sound as exciting
bed?
as... Yeah, it
No,
didn't
I
sound
had
that
a-
exciting.
I had an appendicitis operation just about 2 days before my wedding.
48 hours before.
And my husband was on a 10-day leave. He's from the army. And he was on a 10-day leave. And I really wanted to get married to him because I didn't know when I'll catch him next.
And so,
you
you know,
know.
better, you know...
So I was pumped with painkillers. I said, I will wear that sari. I wore that sari, and you know, there was a fresh, you know, it was not a laparoscopy, it was
Yeah,
actually a
back
cut
then, yeah.
at that
Oh
point
my
of time.
God.
And I made it, and it looked gorgeous.
Wait, I thought they wrapped you in bed and you just got married. So, no, that's what I thought. Sorry. That's just, it doesn't sound that exciting.
Oh my God! So
Oh my God, that's
days after an
amazing.
operation,
Yeah.
you wore a Tarun sari, and you were like, "I am getting married."
Yes.
And you know, that time getting married in saris was not so popular. Now it's coming back.
It is coming
like
back,
a wedding
yeah.
sari with a nice dupatta or a veil is coming back. Thanks to some celebrities who've done it well, like especially like Diya Mirza and people like her. But at that time, that must have been quite unique.
It was unique, and let
Yeah.
me tell you, that sari, if I wear it today, it looks exactly the same. The finish and the
I
quality,
will
it looks
say this.
exactly the same as when I wore it about 17 years back.
So I have to agree with you because some of the best pieces that I wear even today are the ones that my mom bought from you 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And till today, like I wear it, I enjoy it. For my graduation, we had to wear a sari, and obviously I didn't want to go out and buy one. I just went to my mom's closet, picked out a Tarun sari and wore it, and then my sister did the same. Those saris we still wear today.
Yeah, that's
and,
the way...
and let me add to this, you know,
Yeah.
it's a very small, minor point here, but it's really important. You know, that time he used to make these petticoats, okay? And I got married in January, and he had this beautiful, you know, this stretch thick
yeah.
petticoat.
He had the best.
He had the
petticoat.
best
Yes.
petticoat. with a little slit. So
I agree.
what I asked I don't think he knows. I asked his assistant that time, it was Rakesh. I asked him, can you make me 4 more petticoats of different colors? And they did it, and that's what I wear with all my sarees today, by the way.
Slim
Well,
fit
that's the
to
other
your body.
thing, that I keep thinking in this whole thing of modernity. As you women in India have kept your figures and want fitted Western clothes, you can't just suddenly go back to wearing a sari to feel like a balloon.
Yeah.
That's why we started the corsets, so we started the jewel T-shirts to wear with things. I think that fashion has to be dynamic. Otherwise, what happens is that you wear it for these ceremonial things, and it's like costume, sort of like the kimono in Japan. And then you're in Western clothes. So I want to create more clothes that are Indian but contemporary and cool for everyday life.
Right.
And I think that's what we can take to the world, right?
Exactly. And
So-
now with like first of all, you were the first person to do stitch saris, at least in
In the way I do it, yeah.
Yes, the way you do it, because I
Yeah.
remember, again, because of school and college and stuff, I wanted mom saris, and he would do it in a way that for kids, it's easy to put on, because obviously we don't know how to put it. We have no one in school to help us.
Right.
So I remember with the hook, with the
Yeah.
different options to put,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
already the pleats are done. You're one of the first to do
Well,
that.
now we started much more complicated things, what we call the concept sari.
Yeah.
Again,
Which is
it's
even
all a
easier to
fusion.
wear, right?
Yeah.
It's even easier to wear.
And it's something that even a Western person can slip on.
Yeah.
So I think, I always give the analogy that we speak in English, we're educated in English schools, we travel the world, but we're Indian. So like that, fashion, food, everything, lifestyle will evolve, and fashion must always reflect that.
Yeah. So do people fight over Lakshmi designers? Like we want her, like for example, if there's a fashion week with like more than one designer showcasing.
I mean, I've earned a bit of stripes, so I just say, make sure Lakshmi's in my group. Bye-bye. And I put the phone down.
I guess
it.
like having
That's the only way to do
seniority
it.
helps in this case. Have you had crazy like multiple designers call you and be like, listen, you're walking for me. No, listen, you're walking for me.
In the profession of modeling, models really don't have a say, right?
Ah.
So what I do, and it's very diplomatically done, is
Yeah,
that
she's very diplomatic.
you
See, it's
have
not
to
up
be
to me.
diplomatic. It's just not up to me.
Just the diplomatic damsel in distress.
Absolutely.
Desire.
I don't put my nose into things where I don't,
Yeah, that's
it's
really
not
smart.
necessary. Yeah,
That's
so-
probably why you lasted so long too. You're super diplomatic. It
Yeah, no,
helps.
she's good and neutral when each other's here and have a giggle. But up front, it's certainly professional,
Has to
to
be.
do
I'm
what you
also
have
an
to
army
do.
officer's wife, you see. So
Yeah, that's true.
It all works out pretty okay.
Yeah, you're a beautiful couple. Her husband's also super handsome. You know where I met him? At the same shoot that my mom was
Yeah,
at.
yeah, he
with
was
the
there.
big-
I was hanging out with
He
him
was
at the
there
back.
reading a book.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to ask, lately, a lot of high-profile brides have been wearing you. Well, forever, but especially lately. So
Yeah.
we had Rakul,
Yeah.
who's an actor. And then we had the Ambani new Bahu, Radhika Merchant.
Yeah.
She wore your outfit for her signing.
Yeah.
I think the most
Yeah.
important part of the pre-wedding ceremonies. So tell me about this now with these young, high-profile girls. Does the process change? Do they come to you with ideas? Because they do have a sense of what probably they like and they want.
So, the thing is today, I think there's a much greater awareness than, say, 20 years back or even 10 years back. Because everyone's following everything and they'll come quietly and do a recce of the stores. And I think one of the things we stood for, or have stood for a long time, is now really getting hold, which is we want things to be fine and we want things to be comfortable. It's not for show. I don't prescribe to this thing that people should drag 30 kilos around them and
Yeah.
look like dead, dying ducks, none of that. And I won't do it.
Yeah.
It's just not, even
Yeah.
in the clothes you've been wearing, the new
Yeah,
couture
and thank
bridal,
God for that,
They're
really, for
weightless.
us.
They can have all the layering, they want the drama, but drama is not 30 kilos of weight. And there was this instance, luckily not mine, where some bride's lehenga snapped and fell off at her reception. Everything just zipped, just ripped and
Because
down
it was
it
too
came.
heavy?
Yeah.
Because it was,
It's too
oh
heavy.
my
And there was
God.
one
There's
more
nowhere
bride.
else it'll go except right
I mean,
down.
gravity, baby. I hope she had a G-string to match, but anyway, poor thing. And there was this other one who couldn't get out of her car and began to weep. Then finally 4 people had to come and hold the 4 corners, and that's how she could get to the mandap.
Oh my
And to me,
God.
that's ludicrous. And everyone's talking about sustainable fashion. Well, buy things that you can wear again and again, right?
That's
But
true.
You
all
take
these
the-
years, Tarun, I have also been wondering, I would be the one who would probably wear the
Yeah,
heaviest
yeah,
outfit and
yeah,
walk
the
down the
toughest
ramp. The
girl.
toughest outfit
Yeah.
would come to me. And I would wonder as to, if I'm, and I'm strong, I'm pretty strong
I mean,
when
you're
it
a
comes
tall
to things.
girl,
I'm
And
like,
you're
tall,
wearing it
strong.
for like 2 minutes.
I'm wearing
Someone's
it for 2
wearing
minutes,
for 8
and I
hours.
would see like there would be these red marks around my waist, and
Bleeding,
I would be
scratching.
dragging that outfit to the head wrap and back, and I would wonder
It's like a
who
penance.
wears this. I mean, why would a bride go through this at her wedding on her wedding day?
And obviously they're very expensive because there's that much work on it,
Exactly.
right?
So it's all a waste.
So
you
I
can't
think
wear it
it's
again.
just-
They're super expensive.
I think that I've just stuck to my guns, and I think also the last 2-3 years I feel that, however terrible it sounds, being stuck without working for a month and a half during COVID helped me reset and recalibrate what I wanted the brand to be. Because you mean well, but you drift, There are influences, there are different things, where I just think that what we are doing now is resonating with more and more people, and we're just doing it because we believe in it.
I mean, these girls looked comfortable. They looked beautiful.
They were stunning, all of them.
They were light on
Yeah.
their feet.
They had fun.
Did the stylists, I think, Ami styled Rakul? And Ria styled Radhika. Did they come to you with an idea, or how did it work?
Well, they came and discussed the basic. With Rakul, it was simpler. She tried things on. And said, okay, I've been around and this is the direction I want to go in. With Radhika, it had to be from scratch, but we worked around some of the things that we had done. And we suggested a shape that was not a lehenga and not a sari. So it was somewhere in between. Because also now the draping skills have become very refined. So if I make a sketch in a particular way, we have the technical capabilities to be able to do it, as opposed to where it didn't exist. And the drapes are shaped and we cut on the body, all that stuff.
Because the wedding, everybody was dressed to the nines and people were in very big, elaborate outfits. I just thought like Radhika looked young, like her age. It was obviously couture, but there was a certain amount of simplicity to the
I thought
outfit.
a lot of delicacy as well.
She looked delicate. She just looked like so fresh and
she wore that one necklace and
the jewelry was also so appropriate. Just the whole thing was.
So I saw the jewelry up front.
Yeah.
But she was true to her own vision of herself.
I think it really worked, honestly.
Of being like, she always like, fine, I don't care what anyone thinks, I don't want crystal. And we stuck to that. And I think it worked.
Really well. It came out beautiful.
It was soft,
But a lot of people did compare Rakul's outfit that she wore in her peras to this one, Athiya's outfit that she wore, which Anamika made for her peras, because they both were blush pink. I think they both had longer sleeves. So I don't know if you saw it on the internet. There was a lot of comparisons. They're both beautiful outfits. But
I do remember that was beautiful.
It was pretty. It was Anamika. It was very pretty. And Athiya is very well dressed. But when you see these comparisons online, does it bother you that anyone thinks that maybe your outfit looked like this one's outfit? It doesn't matter.
It doesn't bother me, no. Because I don't have nothing to do with it. I mean, sometimes visually it may from a distance. And Anamika and I are good friends, so we laugh about it.
It doesn't matter.
But, I mean, you're going to do something in blush with flowers on tulle, chances are it's going to look a little similar.
Exactly.
And it's okay.
Yeah. And another one I want to really ask you about. I wanted to pick up the phone and ask you that time, but then I forgot. So now this is the perfect opportunity. There was some controversy with Made in Heaven.
Yes.
They had, so just for anyone who doesn't know, Made in Heaven is a show. It's a very nice show on Amazon Prime, I think. And there was an episode where they were showing a character as a designer. And he was showing his garments, but those garments were actually Tarun's garments, right?
Well, importantly, when we contracted to do this with them, the whole episode was being dressed by us under the understanding that we would be given credit.
Right.
That this was a Tarun Tahiliani episode, in that I was not appearing on it, but it was clear that these clothes had been bought at Tarun Tahiliani, and this was by the design house. However, when the episode premiered, they had a fictitious designer who held these clothes up, and that was totally against the spirit of the agreement, which is why I took them to task a bit.
Oh.
I mean, it wasn't what we had agreed upon.
I know.
If you buy I wouldn't be okay even if you bought the clothes and pretended that was it. But we'd given everything and done the fittings and provided everything, because the brand had to be given.
Credit should be given
exactly.
where it's due. If it's somebody's work, the credit should.
No, and that was the understanding. That's why I said to Bhavna, I said, how have you all turned? And she said, I have no idea. I'm just a stylist. I said, Bhavna, you call me, and this is my relationship with you. So anyway, it's okay. I think between the time people shoot and the time it gets edited, I don't believe that anybody on that meant it badly. It's unfortunate the way it came out. and I had to speak up about it. That's all.
The fact that you put it out there, it means that, it will not happen again.
But I also did it because I said to the, from the way I understood it, that was always going to be 8 episodes or whatever it was, where different designers were doing different episodes.
Right.
And I quickly notified the community and said, guys, if you all have also done this in the same arrangement that I have, then you need to let them know that it's not okay, so you get credit.
Exactly.
That's all.
Exactly.
They hadn't been aired yet.
Quite a lot of camaraderie for designers. I would say maybe actually from your age group and even the younger, the 20-year-olds who are starting out.
I don't think there's camaraderie at all.
In which age group is there no camaraderie? In yours?
It used to be when we started the FDCI, and fashion weeks were fun and not so aggressive. The stakes were much lower.
Yeah.
People genuinely had fun.
Is it very competitive now?
Yeah, and people always trying to. There's too much one-upmanship. And that one-upmanship and camaraderie don't go together.
It's also very impersonal, No,
That's
it's very,
sad. So you've seen over the years this change, the whole climate of the.
It's terrible. I mean, no one hangs out, no one has fun. They were a blast.
We used to have a blast. Oh my God.
They were insane. They were too much of a blast for serious business.
Yeah.
Actually, there was a problem.
Why do you think I stuck
And now everyone means business, right?
It's gone a whole different direction now. This is the first time I said no to Fashion Week. Because, I said no to Fashion Week. I said,
Why? Because it's just not fun anymore?
It's just like a exhibition which has where there are shows happening one after the other. It's very mechanical. That's the right word.
Yeah.
And for us models, I do it just also because I love it.
Yeah.
But I don't have any more fun. At least during
now,
Fashion Weeks for now,
So
I like my couture, independent shows. I now choose what I want to do.
Yeah, and you're at the stage in your life where
yes,
you can.
and I like that.
Yeah, you're very sought after. You've established yourself. So, but is there a lot of competition with models as well? Like, are they
huge?
Are they like cutting each other off? Are they like?
I don't think they are cutting each other off. I think there are so many agencies now, and as I said, that anybody is replaceable now, which wasn't the case before.
But there's some really great girls walking the international runway now.
Yes.
The really great ones all leave.
They all leave. The good ones leave. But don't they come back? No. They leave for a couple of years because they're making a career.
The rates are too low here for them.
That's true.
They're tied up with the... Because I tried with Pooja More, is her name?
Yes.
Once or twice,
Why don't you ever think about going to Paris?
I'll tell you why. Because these designers spoilt us silly. We used to feel like queens. We used to rule the run. We used to rule the modeling scenario. We would not be. We'd never go for audition. I don't remember I went for an audition ever.
Right.
Just maybe a couple of times. And these, like Tarun or Anamika, they would make us feel like goddesses. We would be treated like that.
Yeah.
So I remember when we'd gone to Milan for his show, he just took a select group of girls. And he carried us like as if we were from a different planet. We had come, these exotic Indian beauties.
Yeah,
and that's the way he would, present us.
Yeah.
So who wanted to leave all that and go abroad and
struggle? You've been so relevant for so long, Titi, and I would say, like you said, from COVID onwards, I have seen this new found appreciation for your brand. I have all of a sudden a lot of cool girls and young girls want to be TT brides. I've seen the prices also go up. I've seen this whole revolution with your brand really in the last few years. Now, where do you see this going from here?
So the thing is that I've always really been interested in a simpler ready-to-wear. I love all this draping and basic
but I like your
t-shirt.
couture.
No, I love the couture. The couture is going up.
Yeah.
Okay. In fact, the couture show, you were doing it with accessorizing every shoe, everything. Every look's going to be available head to toe. There are 95 looks in that show.
Damn.
I mean, 25 are men.
Yeah.
But I'm also going to be doing a more easy line, which I'm going to make simpler, which is like this. These would be all separates in there.
Exactly.
You can buy a top, you can just buy a trouser, you can buy a draped top. I love that. I'm really keen on that. Of course, I love the couture because of the finesse. We also have Taswa, which is now the ready-to-wear for men, which
Tarun, I have to say, it is outstanding.
So
it is outstanding.
Let me tell you, it's taken a lot of hard work.
What's the price range of Taswa?
It starts at about 2,500.
Oh my God.
Or 3,000 for a nice kurta.
This is a game changer.
And they're after me to start it for women, but I've been saying, no, wait, let's get this production right, because I'm too old now to have bad quality God, even if it's at 3,000. That's not negotiable.
I agree, yeah.
So we're working on that now. That's all I can do. I want to do jewelry, but I think, honestly, I know of many cases of women who've been cheated by fancy jewelers. So I don't want to get into the game of stones. I don't know stones. But I'm going to design fantastic things in silver, that are going to be spectacular,
Beautiful.
made like real jewels. But it's not a real jewel because I don't want to ever have someone buy something and say, oh my God, this is a man-made diamond versus,
or it's not the quality that
no,
we claim for
who's
it to be.
Who's to know?
Yeah.
I don't think most people can tell today. So I don't want to do that. We're doing accessories, we're going to start shoes. So we're really going in the Western way where we'll go up and down. And I'll have the cheaper lines too.
Do you think that works with modeling as well if you have good ethics? Like you said, you have a good reputation.
Yeah.
That really carries you forward. That's the only way to success or to succeed in this industry.
Absolutely. People
and
have to trust us.
professionalism,
Yeah.
So with her, I'm okay if she said, I'm coming an hour before the show. I don't want people to be waiting, hanging around. It drives me nuts. They'll call them at 8 o'clock and the fitting will happen at 3. It drives me more nuts than it drives the model. It's so bad.
Every single time I do a fitting, not for some of the designers because some of the designers are really sorted and they'd call you in 15 minutes, you're done, you're out.
Right.
But most of the times, to all these years, fittings was the only time when I would really wonder my life decisions. Like why did I
Because they make you wait a lot.
It's mind-numbing.
Because they are not sure about what they want to do.
So they're using this as like a time to figure out what they want.
And that is not how fitting should be.
Right, they should
It
figure
does not
it out.
happen. It does not happen like that internationally. It does not happen like that with some of the top designers in the country.
Now we say let us fit in the studio and give them slots.
Yeah.
She's in, she's out in 20 minutes.
You have to respect everybody's time, right?
I
in
think
the chain,
so.
everybody's important. So I think that's in India. I think little bit we need to learn how to respect
Not
people's
little
time.
bit, a lot.
Okay, a lot. I was just being polite.
There's no value for life or time. It's we have 1.4 billion people. People will call someone for a meeting and make them wait 8 hours. I've heard this even designers treating people
That's
like
a
this.
horror story.
And I'm, guys, don't you have some respect for people?
Yeah.
But I think some of these values need to be upgraded a bit, shall we say?
I agree. What's the worst story you have in your career with a designer? Like
worst story?
Worst, because I know you have.
I can tell you it's not with me. That's good news.
I mean, there's a reason why you're his muse. So clearly, it's all good in this hood.
Yeah. Apart from the fact that he wants to give every time I meet him for a show, he says, I have 13 outfits for you this time.
13 outfits?
No, he just kids. Just try to spook me or and I look at him because I remember him telling me once that he saw me backstage, between a show from one outfit to the next. He saw me run or probably jump like a gazelle.
She was in this white outfit 3-4
trying
years
to go
back.
into the next outfit. So he said, I have this vision of you jumping like a gazelle.
Because you have to be back on time for your cue, right? And unfortunately, the other thing we do here is everything's grand in front, but typically Indian thing, we these little squished spaces backstage for people to change.
So you're jumping over
and there's someone doing someone's shoes or something, and this woman came running, and she just, I don't know, just like, I'm like, wow, I've only seen a Thompson Gazelle does it with the lions behind it.
So now you know where the professional reputation comes from.
Yeah,
right?
so designers expect, but it's true, they expect models to scramble backstage, run, and they give you no time to change your clothes.
It's
and
not
they
about
expect
time.
you back.
Give them space.
Or
you need space.
And they expect you back on the runway
because you have to
in
get
like
your
a minute.
jewels off, you have to get
But
the next...
that's the thing about fashion weeks. When FDCI, when we were doing shows with FDCI, at that point of time, the green rooms used to be huge. Everything was so magnanimous, Now, as we've kind of gone through so many years, I think people have just become. The green rooms have become smaller. The fitting rooms have become smaller.
But I also think the designers were to blame for that because when there was that, and I'm equally to blame. When there was that split between Lakme and Crew, Delhi, and then
Bombay,
they were both trying to compete with each other, and so on the same budgets, they were trying to, lure people. So that doesn't make for a standard being competitive. That's why I worked, and many people worked, and it's all back together, finally.
Yes, absolutely.
Now we need to
God
bring
for
the
that.
standards back. We need to be one fashion industry. We need to be one voice for the world.
Absolutely.
That's the only way to build it, And let 1,000 other things happen simultaneously.
Yeah, why not?
The problem over here is that they make you can't do it. Shut up, let everybody do it. If there's a couture week and you're not in it, let there be 5 centers where everybody else comes and shows. That's how the world works.
Everybody needs to get their
It's a
things
win-win
out
for
there,
everybody.
Yeah.
And the bigger it is, the more people will come.
That's true.
But we are still our mindset small here.
Let me tell you about this one worst story for me on ramp. I remember I was wearing this one outfit. I think it was It must have been at least 45, 50 kgs. Huh?
Oh my God.
At least, because I remember when I was to open the show, and I literally had to, like, how a boxer kind of, peps himself up before,
Steel
gets into the...
Push-ups.
No, you have to muster every bit of strength.
And the funny thing is that you can't show any kind of emotion
Stress
on your face. Any kind of
yeah.
stress, but I could see when I saw the video, I could see, I could see my veins popping here because I was pulling that outfit to the head wrap, and what goes on in the model set. And people ask me, what goes on in your head? And I said, what, I'm only waiting to go back home. And what's home? Backstage. You finish.
You're very gracious. I've been waiting to just go slap that designer, throw it on his head or her head. And what's the big word they had, wardrobe malfunction, when things fell off.
A lot of wardrobe malfunctions have happened.
That big deal, someone stopped, fell off by mistake, right? And then for 2 days non-stop on national television, this thing would play.
Repeat.
But they'd fuzz that little part of the chest, right? Yeah. Or there's that one woman
but
who did the
so
ties.
Wrong. Oh my God. 1 second. But for the poor model.
But
she was
yeah,
flashed on the TV channels with her top
20,
falling off.
Yeah, but
she
they
was
would kind of like
saying that it was done purposefully. This was done to gain attention. It was
but on national television on every channel for 2 days. Just goes to show you the mindset. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Malini Ramani just finished her case wearing the India flag dress. In 2002, was it?
Yeah.
It's taken 20 years. What is she? She wore a flag. And you see Alec Weck coming down the ramp in London with a Union Jack on a G-string, topless, and contact lenses with the Union Jack. And say, now, wait, how did they teach us all this Victorian morality and have moved on and we are stuck in some demented,
That's true. That's true.
hangover of this?
That is crazy. So Lakshmi, what's the plan? Like like Titi said, hopefully you will maybe modeling till you're 65 or till whenever, because you're gorgeous, you'll always be gorgeous. But is there any other plan to diversify? Like a lot of models have also started styling, started like a jewelry business, etc., whatever. Is there any plan or what are the options for models?
So I've already started that. I have my own startup. It's called Will There Be Talent Camp, and it's something that I'm giving back to the
Will there
world
be talent?
Will to be. Will there be talent also? Yeah, that should be the tagline.
Okay.
Will to be Talent Camp.
Okay.
And
so what
it's
is
my
that?
own private limited company wherein I am. It's like a grooming transformational institution. Wherein let me tell you, there was never there in the country where there was a honest, proper education system for anybody who wanted to get into the field of modeling. Okay, so I went through that because I got in.
There wasn't for design till 20 years back. So
there you go. I got into it completely blind, and the kind of experiences that new models would come up and tell me, it was heartbreaking. And I always wished, though I tried to help them out at that point of time, I always wished there was some kind of an education to
really
tell these young
time?
kids,
like,
oh my God, they would go through people scamming them, and I'm not only talking about models or people who have the ability to become models.
Yeah.
There were so many who did not have the means or
But
the talent to become a model.
Yeah.
But they would go through some really horrific experience. So, and models who are also, there's a girl from Bangalore who's a Down syndrome kid. And all these girls and boys who are coming to this industry are all from the age bracket of 15 to about 20.
Yes, they're very young.
Which is a very vulnerable age.
Yeah.
And it's important for them to get prepared before they enter this industry.
Yeah.
It's really needed.
Yeah.
I never thought about it, but it's so right.
Yeah, this is amazing.
I mean, it must be frightening. One of the saddest things, I can't remember her name. I used to like her a lot. Many people thought she wasn't that, she came from, somewhere in Bihar or something. And I liked the way she fit. I even shot with her. Yeah. And she had left her child and husband. I mean, means she was earning for them. And I asked her she'd come in on a Monday. I said, what did you do this weekend? And she said, all day I lay in my bed with Afghan snow or some fairness cream on my skin. Because I've been told I'm too dark, and I've always liked dark models.
Yeah.
I don't give me this chick. I want a dark, dusky Indian skin. I think it's much more beautiful.
You want the girl
but
to
this
represent
poor
the country.
girl had lain in bed, and those are carcinogenic and awful. And I just had that vision in some Malviya Nagar servants' quarter, which was her PG, lying locked up, trying to be fair.
That's crazy.
And that makes me insane.
But
this must have been a while ago, because now this issue is not there anymore, right? Want models to be fair.
Yeah, but every Bollywood actress is so dark, wouldn't you say? Sorry.
But do you know that
I would say in Bollywood, they all, not all, but a lot of them try and get fairer.
Absolutely.
I think there's some tip you take, right?
That's been the most important influential thing.
But
for
models
this
not so
country.
much, no?
Well, not in high fashion, no.
Yeah.
What we do is this little sliver. This is emulated in every city, in every town. It's across the country. I mean, modeling, right? And it's also seen as a stepping stone to Bollywood or film or whatever.
Yeah, actually, yeah.
So, I mean, let's not think or be so egotistical to think that what we do is in the scale. There are millions of models, millions of this thing. They're happening in every show, every town. Ghastly things I sometimes see on Instagram. But it's there. And that's how the whole, industry evolves. But
actually, you must have seen a lot of models come through who end up becoming actors. I know Deepika was in one of your campaigns.
Aishwarya, Deepika.
They were in your campaigns and then they went to
Katrina.
Katrina was
I met Katrina when we were doing that film. So, I mean.
Lisa Hayden, remember?
Yeah. Well, she did 1 or 2 films, yeah. But yeah. And then again, you take the stereotype not the stereotype. She's not a stereotype. Deepika or Lisa Hayden, not a stereotype. High cheekbones, tall, blah, 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 5'10". And suddenly that becomes the aspiration for the country who doesn't have this body shape or this thing, I've always screamed that please, big hips are a beautiful Indian body shape. Yeah. Why are you trying to, flatten yourself out?
But would you hire somebody with big hips for your runway?
If I could fit in advance, I don't have a problem.
Yeah.
Just don't come and throw me some size 16 the day before because I've cut on a fit model. But if someone had a lovely curvaceous shape, I'd love to use her. But I can't take something cut to Lakshmi's body and put it on her the day before.
Right. But then do you consciously try and do that now? Like be more inclusive in terms of
Well,
the
that's
kinds
the whole
models?
point of those shoots that I did where your mum was in it.
Yeah.
We had Janti, we had people of all different shapes,
sizes
white-haired
and
women.
shapes, yeah.
Mona Malia, who's 78, who still shoots for me. This whole thing of inclusive, I think, is a coolly trend. We've always been inclusive in our brand. But unfortunately, if you're going to fit the day before the show...
But you need time.
Yeah, and you have to cut a different pattern.
Yeah.
Can I sit a size 16 and fit you and them on the same pattern? I mean, is there any concept of fit?
No.
It doesn't exist.
Yeah.
It's okay with the sari.
Yeah.
Because you drape it on the body. But I keep telling all the fashionists now, this is kind of token inclusivity. Yeah. Give us the thing, send the list in advance, let us choose. Because it's not just about having a tiny girl or a big girl or, someone who's transgender. Let us have the pattern. Let us see how they walk.
What do you think you've learned from Paris?
Well, honestly, I think India, in terms of how models and the backstage and the entire crew is treated, I think that we have a long way to go there.
Yeah.
So they think they're very professional.
They're very professional. So there's a system to the whole thing.
Yeah.
Here, it's very ad hoc, basically. What I got paid perhaps in 2001 for Fashion Week, I got paid a particular amount, say it was 7,000 rupees per show. And today, about 23 years later, you will see that models are getting paid 5,000 rupees or 6,000 rupees a day for...
Oh my God.
So you brought the standards.
How can it go down?
Exactly my point. So I
Perfect
really feel that there is...
1.4 billion people in India.
There's no system. There's nobody.
No, but that's nothing to do with the system. That's a different
No, but there has to be a minimum wage.
100%,
there has to be a minimum wage that a model has to be paid this much amount for these many number of hours. There is no system to a number of hours.
There's no union
if you're
for
going in for
models.
a show, it could be a
Don't-
14-hour show. I mean, a 14-hour work period.
But
That's
people
unfair.
do not work together. So everyone's so easy it's divide and rule. That's what happens.
So I
Kuch
think
to
some
seekh अंग्रेजों से.
some professionalism is needed, and they need to know their rights. Everybody working in the industry.
But
Who's
if
gonna do
everybody
it?
does this together,
Yeah.
you command it as opposed to undercutting each other. That's what she's trying to say.
All I'm saying that models can't do it. There has to be an organization, that should be responsible for increasing the standard, increasing at least what the model gets paid
And
for
in
her
23
for her
years, the
time.
payment should go up because there's
And
inflation
it hasn't
also,
happened,
no?
and I
Can
think
you
we
imagine?
failed there. And which is what I'm teaching my students today, that, this is the amount of money that you have to charge, and don't do things for free. Don't do a collaborations only if it's worth it. Like if there is visibility, if there is something that you get out of it. Don't get fooled.
Yeah.
But the problem is it's easy to say if you're starving, you have to make that rent or whatever.
Yeah, but not
Unfortunately-
2,000 rupees.
People should not take advantage
There
of
are people
you.
taking
I
advantage.
know,
Once you're
but you
young
have
and
to
you're
get
in
to-
need, no one should take advantage of you. She's right. Some
So,
standards,
but I think that
some
finally,
policies have to be
but
in
I
place.
feel that eventually it's the designers or the FDCI who must set a standard to be fair,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I didn't want to say this. I'm glad you said it
I
yourself.
say that, you know, when I come to the factory, I want it to be clean. I want there to be nice places. The toilets have to be clean. There has to be, you walk through the factory anytime. It's not like we stage anything.
Yeah.
It's kept in a certain way so people have dignity.
Certain standards,
It's a decision. I moved from Bombay because I'd see the embroidery units. The clothes would stink. They were in slums. I said, can't do this.
Yeah.
You cannot make beautiful clothes like this.
So I come from a place where I've seen the modeling industry and the demand for Indian models go from, you know, have gone through a curve, literally,
Right.
you know. So I remember the time when there was a time when there were a lot of foreign models who came into India.
Yes, I remember
And
that time.
suddenly, you know, because I think Indians at that point of time, I don't know, it's changing slowly today, but they have this fair skin complex.
Hugely.
Hugely. And I remember we used to lose out a lot of work, that too with Indian clothes
Really?
to these foreign models. So you would
But not
see
to
a
the-
hoarding. No, you would see a hoarding with these two foreign models wearing a lehenga and a sari. They don't know any. They don't know
Chirag
how to.
didn't
They
start
don't know
with
how
that
to
in
wear
Bombay.
it. They don't know how to, you know, hold that, you know, keep that hand
Hold
in
the
a particular
dupatta or
way
like
or hold
whatever,
it.
yeah.
They look like sticks. But then there they are, the face of a commercial brand, you know, or a designer brand.
For
Some of the
ethnic
designers
wear,
did
yeah.
have this obsession. And not Tarun ever. I don't think he's ever had this obsession with the fair skin. He's always kind of promoted the Indian beauty.
Yeah.
And then today, we see so many Indian models doing really well abroad.
So the trend has changed.
The trend has changed.
Now, like,
you know,
duskier girls,
the duskier
exotic girls
yeah,
are,
and I'm
like,
really happy to see
sought
that.
after,
Yeah, so
yeah.
I have an agency as well. And this girl called Radhika, she is about 5'6", dark, dusky, you know, from the south. She just did the Burberry campaign.
Amazing.
You know, and she's not really tall, but she still managed to get the Burberry campaign and do it. So I feel things are
somebody
really
from your
changing.
agency?
Yes,
That's
she's from my
amazing.
agency.
So do you think now the future of Indian models is the globe now?
I think so.
Right?
I definitely
because now
think
they're
so.
Definitely.
they're so sought after,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And I think once something gets accepted abroad, which is sad, then it becomes really cool in India as well.
Yeah.
That, oh, now these dusky cynics go so cool, let's get these kind of girls to model here too. Right?
Yeah, I hope so.
Well, I think in Bollywood as well, I've always loved
Not
the
Bollywood,
dusky
I'm saying like fashion, right?
Yeah, but I'm just saying that,
Yeah.
you know, it's not that film used, but when Saint Laurent brought the black models in the late 80s or
Yeah.
90s, no one used black girls like he did, right?
Yeah.
The original Yves Saint Laurent. And then it just became
A
like
thing.
rampant. Yeah, like
Yeah.
McQueen shows are more black girls than white, you know?
Right.
And they're edgy and they're bold. And of course, there were many beautiful ones. I said in Bollywood, you had more dark-skinned heroines, and
It
that
would help.
would help.
It would
That's
help
all I
like
meant.
pop culture and like
Yeah.
because that seeps
Instead
into
of
the smaller
endorsing
towns.
fairness creams, which is what happens.
Yeah. But I do like that a lot of like young influencers and some young actors are refusing to endorse fairness creams and things which
Yeah.
may seem problematic, you know?
Well, which represent something we shouldn't be really doing in our
Yeah,
culture.
yeah.
That's all.
Okay, one last thing. I know I'm just going on and on. What is the best thing about being one of the most successful but a Indian designer for these many years? What's the best thing?
For me, the best thing is that I've got to travel. I've got to see India in a way that I wouldn't have imagined. I grew up very much like a lot of other kids my generation, South Bombay, Doon School. We only looked west. We wanted to party in New York, London, blah, blah, blah. Now I can't be bothered. My excitement and fun comes from discovering India and craft. My whole life's purpose has changed. And my life has a meaning that if I had stuck to my earlier profession and just was about money and flying first class or whatever it is, I think it would have been very shallow. I have a great meaning in my life and purpose.
And design brings you that.
Yeah, and where it's taken me through this country to know my roots, to know my, the origins of where I come from and how I can impact people's lives. Of course, my own life benefits, no question about
Exactly.
it. But how I can impact, I'm fully engaged in that process.
Yeah, yeah.
We've just built a new factory and we found these Madhubani painters and these 3 women have painted the whole lobby. It's exquisite.
Beautiful.
And these are the simple things that make me really happy.
Yeah. And what has modeling given you? Like these 23, 24 years of modeling, this amazing career, like what has it given you?
Well, I've had a blast in this industry. You know, I remember I had gotten through Air Force as a pilot and I had the choice to, either go in for it or go in for modeling.
They'd have to
and-
extend the accelerator on those
no,
legs.
actually, I
poor
actually passed the
thing.
leg length, by the way. Yeah, it was under 120.
Yeah.
So, for me, I think one of the things that I really enjoyed was to be dressed up and to look a different way every single time I would walk the ramp. And I think that really gave me a lot of, you could call it a high. And the fact that I could wear these stunning clothes, you know, and look like a goddess every time I would walk down. It was not so much about adulation, but it was so much about
The way you felt.
the way I felt
that's
about
fun.
it. You know, so that's
Yeah,
fun.
yeah.
And I also traveled a lot with my friends here, you know, all over the world, and I've had some amazing experiences, met some amazing people. So today I'm at a place where I could start a business and actually have the reputation and the professional reputation to kind of actually give back to the new generation. And I think that is really, really needed, because we live in a space wherein, you know, children as young as 15, 16 are going through mental depression. They are,
Much
you know,
younger.
much younger, and they, you know, they think that they should be of a particular size.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm creating a platform where I can tell them that it's okay to be yourself. It's okay to be unique. It's okay to be, you know, just proud of the way you are.
Yeah, yeah.
So I think modeling has given me a lot.
Are you the last of the greats?
Hope not.
I have
We
a
hope
question, no,
not.
because, you know, this kind of relationship where 23, 24 years of having this amazing career and being a muse to this amazing designer and having this beautiful model, like, these kind of pairings don't really come along anymore in the younger generations, you know? Or this kind of like camaraderie, or
You know, if people
this
just
creative
kept life simple and
collaboration.
real,
Yeah.
that's all it is.
Yeah.
So you
I
just,
mean, we can sit in a dhaba and have a cup of tea and have as much fun as we've done in the most fantastic nightclubs or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
And we hope the best is yet to come.
Absolutely.
So,
Amazing. Thank you so much, guys.
nice to be with you. I've known her since she was in her knickers. So that's also great to see. You see, a lot of evolution on this program
That's true,
today.
that's true. And then when I came back from college, he sat me down, he was like, no more uncle. It's Titi or Tarun. I said, okay, I think I've grown up now. This is
That's
my
right.
sign that I've grown
Yeah,
up. Thank
yeah.
you,
Thank
Lakshmi.
you so much, Bernie.